very quickly so that I could just talk a little bit about this.
Thanks so much.
Thanks, Antonella, for the introduction and for organizing this this meeting. I'm going to tell you a little bit about the experience that we had in Stars for All, which was not purely only about citizen science, but many other types of initiatives, but in general, grassroots initiatives. And I think that, I mean, we found a way to really make this a little bit more sustainable. So a little bit, I mean, like from the point of view of, oh, have you lost my presentation or not? No, yeah, okay, perfect.
We can see you.
I couldn't see them. So Stars for All was, I mean, as Antonella has said, a CAPS project that was running from 2016 to 2018. And we consider it to be similar to what Antonella has commented on Action as an incubation platform for light pollution initiatives. Yeah. So very, very focused on a very specific problem. Which was
just please don't make sure that she doesn't change the timings.
So very focused on light pollution, on a very specific type of light of pollution that where we have people working on, and that is related to all the artificial light that we are having at night that is probably not necessary and is bringing lots of problems on the human health, on the waste of resources, on ecosystems, safety and security, astronomy, and so on. So taking that into account, I mean, we were interested in light pollution. What we was a set of initiatives, grassroots initiatives.
Sorry, Oscar.
Yeah.
Please, everybody, can you mute the microphone? I see, I hear someone in the background.
No problem. So we were actually organizing, incubating initiatives. Some of them started with us. Some of them joined during the context of the project on different topics. I mean, from measurements, devices, to educational awareness, and many other aspects related to astronomy, to policies, and so on. So it was quite a rich ecosystem. And I mean, one of the main worries that we had was, okay, what can we do when the project finishes in order to make this sustainable, yeah, to keep this community going on. So that's the reason why we created the Stars for All Foundation. So the Stars for All Foundation is a non-for-profit, general interest foundation. These two elements are very relevant because, I mean, first of all, non-for-profit, that's quite clear for everybody. But being a general interest foundation means, in the context of Spain, which is the place where we registered it, something really interesting, yeah, which is the fact that it has been considered that everything that we are doing is actually something that is for the general interest of society. And we had to work quite a lot on convincing that light pollution was really a general interest problem that was interesting to tackle. So the mission and values of the foundation, well, those ones that are related to promoting light pollution awareness and reduction. So basically, we wanted to coordinate all these light pollution initiatives, representing all the communities, yeah, around light pollution, especially ensuring ethics in the research. And then also providing services like consultancy services, promoting legislation changes, and maintaining an open data infrastructure that had been developed in the project, and that, as any technical infrastructure, needs to be taken care of after the end of the project. So all these are the things that are in our mission and values. And the first thing that we could ask ourselves is, why a foundation? And why in Spain? I'm just placing over there a link, and I mean, it will be available for all of you and for anybody who wants to take a look at it, on a very detailed analysis that we made in several countries in Europe on the different forms that such a sustainability initiative may have. This was done by a legal team that was really specialized on this type of initiatives, and they were considering from associations to foundations in different countries and with the different pros and cons in every single place. I mean, there are some drawbacks on generating this in Spain. We require 30,000 euros, 30K euros for setting up the foundation that had to come from the founders. I mean, we couldn't, I mean, it was not an eligible cost, yeah, for the commission, for the project itself. And it required also a long process, yeah? I mean, we had to be fighting, in quotes, getting legal help that was given to us for free for the acceptance of the foundation in the registry of foundations in Spain. Yeah. On the contrary, I mean, the nice thing, the benefits is the visibility. Yeah, the general approval as a general interest foundation. Yeah, there is also a good tax regime. Yeah, that allows people to donate to us every single year. And for instance, for Spanish institutions and individuals, up to 150 euros per year are deductible. So that's a nice thing when you are willing to do crowdfunding campaigns. Yeah, and the most important thing is that it provides a legal umbrella support for all these initiatives, which was something that everybody was requiring, because many of these initiatives were coming from people, individuals that did not want to deal with all the legals, all the tax related aspects that were relevant, yeah? That are normal in this type of projects. So general benefits, legal support, we are providing also technical support and economical and tax support. So whenever there is a crowdfunding campaign, the foundation is the one that distributes the money to the crowdfunders, to the initiative itself, but it acts as an umbrella so that they don't have to worry about tax purposes and all these things. Yeah. So the only thing that our light pollution initiatives have to agree with is that their data should be open by default for the whole community, that they should share our mission and objectives, and they should have an ethical behavior in their research. So that's the main point that we are doing here. Just to finish, I mean, how do we fund ourselves? Yeah, I mean, we have this nice tax regime, yeah, that we can use. How are we maintaining all the work that we do in the foundation at the speed that we can use? I mean, we are not super full speed. I mean, we just have the thing set up. It's available, it's running, and people can use it, yeah, for these purposes. So one of the things that we created in the context of the project was a device, a photometer, that allows measuring light. And we are taking care as a foundation also of the manufacturing, sales and post-sales support, and on all the open data and dashboards that are being generated. So, I mean, we are continuing with our mission and values of making people aware of the problem of light pollution by providing open data that can be used for research, and that is available in the future European Open Science Cloud, on the tools that we have currently. So as I have told you, we are providing crowdfunding support. We are the ones who are responsible for signing, I mean, many of these documents that those people who get crowdfunding have to sign. I mean, and we have Goteo later, I mean, and they have also this umbrella, yeah, for this purpose. So that's quite nice. And we are also obviously running awareness events. I mean, like for instance, we have done awareness and policy making events in the north of Madrid, and we have been quite successful in that sense, promoting legislation changes. And I mean, our main aim was to try to promote a legislation change in Europe. We didn't succeed on this. I mean, we were trying with different forms, but we are still keeping that in our agenda. So these are the activities. Obviously, the one on photometers is the one that is keeping our money, yeah, safe. I mean, like that we can continue operating, and all the money, I mean, is being dedicated to all these activities. So that's our main aim, yeah, that our villages go from this situation to a place where, I mean, you can just watch the stars, yeah, and not only the stars, but have a better health, yeah. So that's all, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Thank you so much, Oscar. Thank you so much. Very interesting. And I already have a couple of questions for later on. I know that you have to leave us, but your colleague Esteban will take over, so we can.
So you have over there another of the founders, yeah.
Exactly. Okay. Good to have you there. Okay,
Okay.
and now is the time of Enrica Tomei. Who is the Human Resource and Corporate Social Responsibility Project Manager in Accor, Italy, Greece, and Malta.
And Israel now. I know this yesterday. Okay.
Okay, and now Israel.
Yeah.
Good. I'm sure you're the best person to include to tell us a little bit also about Accor, but just to contextualize, I'm sure that all of us have been spending some nights in one of the hotels brands of Accor in Europe and all around the world. I will share your
Thank you very much,
presentation in
Antonella.
a second.
Thank you.
Please go. Okay, start while I fight with Acrobat Reader for having a better visual.
Oh, don't worry.
Start. Thanks. You can start, don't worry.
Yeah, thank you. You can go already on the next slide. So we can start to speak about what is corporate social responsibility, first of all. Yes, and good morning to all, or buenos dias. I see that are every people from around some countries. And I'm Enrica Tomei, as Antonella said before. I work for Accor, and I work in the talent development, talent and culture department, and I follow also the talent development aspect of the group in Italy, and also the corporate social responsibility for the group. And first of all, I want to underline what is really corporate social responsibility before enter in the Accor group actions in terms of sustainability. In the next slide, you can see the classic triple bottom line: people, planet, profit. If I don't know if you know, but this triple bottom line was coined in 1994 by John Eggington, and it allows for an approach to business that equally incorporates three axes that are people, planet, and profit. The triple bottom line aligns so sustainability with profitability by measuring business success equally on economic, social, and environmental factors. You can go on the next slide, Antonella, thank you. You can go on the next.
Oh,
Okay.
You should be able to see the plastic one. The one about the reduction of plastic is not working.
No, on the video, the slide.
Ah.
There is another slide after this, yes.
Okay. Something wrong because I'm changing the slides and you don't see it. Okay, let's try again. What about now?
No, the before. No? The slide before. Yeah. People, planet, profit. Yeah, before. Yeah, before.
Okay.
Before? Yeah, this one.
Sorry, Enrica, sorry.
No, don't worry. It happened. So people, what? The closer, the better. That means work with local communities where the enterprise is present. Involve all the stakeholders through the action and through the real sustainability partnership, and make the world healthier. That means ensure healthy measures, healthy environment, healthy heating, promote prevention of disease. So this is for people. Then we have planet, that is, let me say, do more with less. It is not so simple for a company, but it's the famous 3R: reuse, recycle, and reutilize. The 3R, how we can save waste and we can save money too. Use a sustainability material in all the business, and last but not least, profit. that is share profit, share a common value, and be long a standard term value inspired. That means the ROI of corporate social responsibility and sustainability is a long-term ROI, return of investment. That means if you invest in people, planet, and profit in terms of sustainability, first of all, the return of investment for sure is a long term of investment, but it's sure. So corporate social responsibility is a fundamental self-regulated business model that helps a company be social accountable to itself, to stakeholders, and to the public. By practicing corporate social responsibility, also called corporate citizenship, companies are very conscious of what kind of impact they have on all aspects of society, including economical, social, and environmental. And engaging in corporate social responsibility means that a company is operating in a way that enhances society and the environment instead of contributing negatively on them. Accor is committed in social responsibility since 1994 with the creation of the first department of sustainability. And today, the program of sustainability of Accor is called Planet 21, that means or acting year. And Accor has 3 big projects among all the actions of sustainability. One of these big projects is eliminate single-use plastic. That means we have a big problem with plastic, and you know, because first of all, Greta told us that maybe we have a problem in our environment, and of course, in also social media and mass media have underlined too much this problem about the plastic in our oceans. And in our hotels, first of all, by the end of the last year, we have already eradicated all plastic straw, stewards, cotton buds, and we are going to eliminate all the single mono-use plastic in our hotel, like plastic cups, or for example, other laundry bags, this single mono-use products for the toilet, we transform that in automatic dispenser made by sustainable material. So we are going by the end of the next year to eliminate all the single-use plastics in our hotel. And I let you see a video about the elimination of the single-use plastic.
Okay.
Plastic is everywhere in our daily lives, with disastrous impact both on Earth and in the ocean. Accor has been committed to a responsible attitude for 25 years and will now go further to reduce its impact on the environment.
Every year, we use and we display 200 million single-use plastic items in our restaurants, in the meeting rooms, in spa, wellness facilities. Each of us, you and me, we actually eat every week 1 credit card worth of plastic. We just have to stop it.
We're focused right now on, by the end of 2022, we want to eliminate all guest-related single-use plastic product in our hotels. For each one, we determine a plan as to whether to remove them altogether and or to find substitute product.
And this commitment will be implemented in more than 5,000 hotels in 110 countries.
We're going to be shouting that commitment with the Ellen MacArthur Foundation, getting rid of plastic. It's going to be done also in parallel with the United Nations. I want to make sure that whatever engages group becomes mine and 300,000 people of Accor responsibility. Our clients want it, but our employees want it even more. It's time for me to be in front of it and basically make sure that everybody will be accountable and proud of those things happening.
Accor will eliminate all guest-related single-use plastic items in all hotels by the end of 2022. In 2019, we completed the elimination of all plastic straws, stirrers, and cotton buds. By the end of 2020, we will eliminate all individual plastic toiletry amenities and plastic cups. By the end of 2022, we will eliminate all remaining single-use plastic items in guest rooms, restaurants, meeting, and leisure areas.
Wonderful. Another goal of the group is reduce of the 30% the food waste. Every year, a third of global food production is waste. In restaurant, food waste is estimated of 25%. And we established a great partnership with an app that is called Too Good To Go. And thanks to Good To Go, a partner of the group since 2016, and in Italy, since the last year, we started with the two hotel pilot hotel. More than, around the world, more than 650 hotels have enabled 400,000 of meals to be saved in 11 European countries, which is more or less the equivalent of 225 tons of waste prevented. This result is really important because considering that the food waste represents the 8% of greenhouse gas emission, is really significant how this partnership could be profitable for us, for the environment, and for people, because Too Good To Go enables our hotels to resell most of their unconsumed food at a low price, and respecting, first of all, the storage condition. And this means that the Too Good To Go basket, this is called the magic box, can be offered, for example, for breakfast or for lunch or for dinner to every kind of customer that is in hotel or out of hotel. So I have one more video about this partnership and this goal. That is TGT.
Yeah.
Yeah. Last but not least, one more big project of Accor is Plant for the Planet. That is the reforestation program of the groups, connected to the reuse of towels from our customer. That means that when the customer chooses to reduce the towels in the room, the amount saved from this action is donated to an NGO called an NGO in order to plant trees all around the world. And in Italy, we have two projects in Friuli, Venezia Giulia, and Calabria. And in Italy, we have already planted 12,000 of trees. And all around the world today, we have planted 7 million of trees. And our ambition is plant 10 million of trees until the end of the next year. And I have the last video of Plant for the Planet, and thank you, Antonella.
Intensive farming is jeopardizing our planet. Among other things, it is causing deforestation, pesticide pollution, erosion, and drying up the soil. At Accor Hotels, we are supporting an environment-friendlier and people-friendlier form of farming. We are channeling this support, which is in a class by itself in the hospitality industry, through our Plant for the Planet program. Plant for the Planet funds tree planting projects following agroforestry principles, and these projects are benefiting communities near our hotels. The trees are planted around or in the middle of farmland and pasture land. These trees protect biodiversity, enrich the soil, counteract erosion, curb climate change and the natural disasters it causes, and more. They also improve crop yields and quality. This way, farmers can diversify and build their revenue streams and supply our hotel restaurants with the locally grown, wholesome, and organic treats that our guests expect. It's a virtuous circle, and you can be part of it. For example, if you spend more than one night in one of our hotels, you can choose to reuse your towels. It's simple, and it means we use less water, electricity, and detergent to wash them. Half of the savings we make go into planting trees. Since 2009, we have planted nearly 6 million trees in 280 spots in 26 countries. In France, Accor Hotels is contributing to more than 100 agroforestry projects side by side with farmers who have embraced greener agriculture. In San Martin, Peru, our Plant for the Planet program is supporting and strengthening organic and fair trade cocoa plantations. In northern Thailand, Accor Hotels is helping small-scale farmers to diversify their crops with rice, corn, coffee, and thus their income, while preserving their natural environment. In the Rif region in Morocco, a women's cooperative is planting olive trees and producing and selling its own olive oil, which is dressing the dishes we serve in our Moroccan restaurants. Our goal is to plant 10 million trees by 2021. Our aim is to get as many people as possible on board the Plant for the Planet adventure. Remember, it doesn't take much, and it can change a lot.
Thank you, Antonella. Thank you very much. Well, Plant for the Planet is a really big project that involves all the stakeholders, employees, customers, local communities, and clients.
Thank you, Enrica. Really, it was very interesting also to see how the company is able to create all the value chain, or to cover all the value chain from the production to the consumption, also supporting local entrepreneurship project by farmers. But I'm sure we will have questions on this and time to talk a little bit later. Now the microphone goes to Norman Larocca, which is the Corporate Social Responsible Director at Acqua dell'Elba. Acqua dell'Elba is a company in Alba Island. And when I first met Dr. Larocca, I was very, very pleasantly surprised about how a medium-sized enterprises can became the facilitator of the whole community of the island by engaging policymakers and citizens and associations and school, because normally these kind of processes that also lead to participatory planning of a sustainability plan for the island are taken by public administration or university or grassroots organization associations. But in this case, the company is leading the process. So the floor is yours. Please, I think you can share your screen, but let me know if it is working.
So start sharing my screen before doing everything else. So thank you, Antonella, thanks for the invitation. Congratulations for your meeting. The subject is very interesting. I will talk about the project Elba 2035 later. That is exactly what you was talking about before. It is an important project, the last one that we have developed, but before it we have done several things, and I think that this thing could be interesting for you, for your reasoning, for your future. So I hope in these 10-12 minutes to be useful to your project. So just a few words. Why it doesn't work? Sorry. Okay. Just a few words about who we are, because I suppose that just many few of you can know Acqua dell'Elba and what we do. So just a few words about who we are. We are a We are a family-owned enterprise born 20 years ago in Marciana Marina in the Elba Island, and we like to define ourselves as the essence of the sea. Our uniqueness resides in our products in one of the most beautiful islands in the Mediterranean, utilizing natural raw materials inspired by the sea, which are then knowingly crafted by our expert artisan. I say this one because it is an important point to better understand why we choose to do some projects with some other partners, even in the field of sustainability. Which kind of products we produce? Just to have an overview: perfumes, which are our core business, body cares products, body cream, deodorant, and so on, home fragrances like this one, fabrics, and accessories. This is our core business. Two numbers that are also that are useful to better understand who we are. We produce our products in 2 laboratories, mainly perfumes and home fragrances. We have over 1,000 employees. We have 24 branded shops in Italy, 19 in Italy and 5 in the rest of Italy. 58 partners performers in Italy who distribute the products, and 3 international distribution agreements. The last one is with Mexico, who started last month. 3 branded shops outside Italy who belongs to the distributors, 1 in Seoul and 2 in Kuwait City. 1 subsidiary that we recently set up in the United States, and 1.3 million euro turnover in 2019. That means a rise of 12% compared to 2018. For the 2020, the forecast is not so good as for everybody, but we still defend ourselves. Our mission is to create products inspired by the beauty of the sea, which generate well-being through the sensation they transmit, and our vision is to bring beauty to the lives of people. Beauty intended as a celebration of Elba Island, clearly through our products, but also beauty as the development of a business model which is always respectful of the healthiest economic, environmental, social, and cultural principles. My colleagues before talk about people, planet, profit. It is the same way of thinking. So how do we translate our vision into operativeness? We try to, especially the last things that I was talking about before. So the vision, how to develop a business model respectful of people, planet, and profit. Trying to build specific and concrete projects alone or in partnership that can build value for the community of Elba Island. This is also our sustainability model. What we did until the 2017, a sustainability model of Acqua dell'Elba is changed over the time. Up to 2017, it was focused on certain limited projects, important but limited. The 3 most important are this one. The first one is La Via dell'Essenza. The second one, Artisti all'Elba. La Via dell'Essenza is a project built in partnership with the local partner whose aim is to reconstruct the reconstruction of the Elba Island coastal path, to let people see how beautiful is the island. And Artisti all'Elba is a project made to bring heart into Elba Island and helping young, especially young generation, to start their careers in the field of art in this case. The third one is Ve le spiegate. It is this is Fabio Murzi. Here is the president of Acqua dell'Elba with the T-shirt of Legambiente here in this picture. And this project is important. I think it is important to spend 1 minute just to explain a little bit about this project, because Ve le spiegate is because I think it is an example on how we can build a relationship with other NGOs or the local communities, and how we choose this partnership. It is a project developed in partnership with Legambiente, whose aim is to create awareness around the pollution of the sea and of the beaches and how to prevent it. It consists of a day, repeated several times with different people in different areas, where the participant can participate for a day together with the Legambiente volunteers in the cleaning of one beach from the garbage of any time. It's a perfect example, as I told before, of what we look for in a project, in this case for the local community, focused on sustainability. We are the essence of the sea. Our promise is to bring people the beauty of the sea. Ve le spiegate can help us to maintain this beauty over time. It was natural for us to start a partnership with them. It is something that creates values for the community and in the meantime for the brand. It is a so-called win-win project where everybody wins: Acqua dell'Elba, Ve le spiegate, the local community, and the entire world. In 2017, we decided to strongly boost our sustainability commitment. The first step was to create, in collaboration with Ernst & Young, EY, our first sustainability report. Publishing a sustainability report is an essential step for us, for a company who wants to become sustainable. Because if you really want to improve your social and environmental commitment, you must start from yourself, measuring and eventually changing the things that aren't in line with the new sustainability objectives that you impose to yourself. Regarding Acqua dell'Elba, we started to measure 13 topics you can see on the right there, ranging from the emissions to the diversity to the equal opportunity to health and safety on works, on job place, and so on. From 2017, after the publication of the first edition of the sustainability report, we also decided to boost our social and environmental commitment by building 2 projects that could significantly impact on the local community. How? On one side, try to involve other partners in our activities, and on the other, posing to ourselves new and more significant challenges. The first one the first challenge was to try to raise awareness more than what we were doing with Ve le spiegate, of the problems caused by the pollution of the sea. To reach this goal, we set up a festival called SAFE, CSS International Festival, the first international festival dedicated to the preservation of the sea and its essence. It is an eclectic event where we invite people coming from economic, for the academy, from the culture, from art, from literature, from people who talk about literature, anthropology, culture, because what we want to do in this festival is to let people better understand how beauty is the sea and how it's important to protect it. We also, here you can find the congratulations that the former European Commission to the Sea, Carmenu Vella, address us in the occasion of the first edition of the festival, because one of the other aim that we have is to try to involve all the institutions, not only the local institution, but also institution bigger than the local institution, for example, the European Commission. And in this case, we had the support of the European Commission for our festival. The project that Antonella was talking about before is this one, is Elba 2035. It is a project developed in partnership with Ernst & Young, and the aim of the project is to try to help all together with all the stakeholders of the island a common vision of the future. One of the limits that we have as a company, but that all the company have doing activities in the field of sustainability, is that what you can change in the society is limited if you do it alone. But it can be very powerful if you try to involve more and more stakeholders in your project. And this is the aim of Elba 2035. We have started to talk with all the other stakeholders of the island, a measure of small cities that we have in Elba Island, local NGOs, other companies operating in the Elba Island, students, schools, local schools. We don't have a university in the Elba Island, so we have involved the high schools there in Portoferraio. But we have also the support of the University in Milan for certain aspect of this project. And what we have done is to put together all these people, asking them a simple question: what is your idea of future? What do you think of your island, of Isola d'Elba, Elba Island, in the next 15 years? What do you imagine that should be done to reach this goal that you have in mind? This may be a simple question, apparently, but it's not, because it means that you have to think about the transport, the pollution, the way an island can manage alone herself, especially on the energy point of view, and so on. So it is a project that then ASVIS, which is the Association of Sustainability in Italy, told us that it is the first example in Italy of a company who tried to make concrete the objective 11 of the Agenda 2030. And we are happy about this, because we started this project without thinking about this aim, but then now we are in, and we try to start to continue on this path, listening to the opinion of all the people involved in this project. We have 45 stakeholders involved in this project, and we have done the first step on the 19th of October. Now, in the 10th of December, we have the second step. We will ask people to start to produce their ideas for the future. And at the end of the process, we will produce a manifesto, a sustainability manifesto for the Elba Island, a project, a serious for the future of the island. This is, I think, the most important project that we have done over the years. Then we have done other things. For example, in this case, during the pandemic, we have organized a crowdfunding to support the local hospital, and we have reached 120,000 euro for the hospital of Elba Island. This is the situation, and then even in this period we have started a similar project to help the turtles, sea turtles, with again with the Legambiente and with Tartalò, which is a project of Legambiente in this case. In this case, in both these cases, the two cases, these are two typical cause-related marketing projects where we ask people to buy our products, and a percentage of the revenues that we have by selling these products go to these projects. So it is a simple way, and even again, it's a win-win model, because we sell more products, but we also help these organizations to communicate their objectives and to reach a target people that they can't reach alone without the support of a company. The last thing that I say is that starting from 2021, we will become a benefit corporation. So we have started with Nativa in Italy, a project to transform Acqua dell'Elba in a benefit company, which is a new frontiers in the field of corporate social responsibility, we think, because it imposes to yourself to change your business model, because you have to include the social and environmental commitment in your statutory documents, your mission. Then maybe in the roundtable I have finished. If you want, Antonella, we can focus a little bit more about the cause-related marketing project that we talked about before. We talked about it before the starting of this webinar, and how we choose partners while we think about the project that we have in mind for the sustainability.
In fact, thanks so much, Norman. I'm pretty sure that the ones in the audience that represent association or citizen science projects are thinking, okay, how can I be the one that the company decided to support? How can be my project be in that picture? And we will discuss about this later this morning. Now I leave the floor to Dr. Marco Sebastianelli, Senior Associate of Plusvalue, which is a very innovative reality at European level, because is one of the most expert think tank in how to support innovation that has a social and environmental impact, by again getting in touch with the variety of stakeholders and working on different instruments and tools. So Marco, please go ahead if you can share your screen. Otherwise, I have your presentation I can do for you as you prefer.
Thank you, Antonella, for the kind introduction, and thank you for your invite. I'm really taking on the comment of Norman on the idea that to build what we call social impact, it's really about bringing together different realities, different organizations coming from the private sector, and we heard a lot on private sector so far this morning, but also bringing the public perspective. And what I would like to talk to you about today, it's really something that it's a bit in the middle of the two worlds, which is impact investing. The idea of impact investing, you will see, is not a new one, but it's gaining traction in the latest years. And I think this is really this is a really interesting perspective for bottom-up innovation projects like citizen science projects that Action Project is focusing on. So just briefly, I know I don't have much time and we're running a little late, so I'll try to be really quick. But what I will try to do today is to give you a brief introduction of what impact investing is, to give you a sense and help maybe citizen science projects navigate through different funding opportunities, and then also quickly present Urban Impact Fund, which is an impact investing fund that Plusvalue has launched this year. We are currently in fundraising stage, but I think it can also be interesting for you to understand a very particular kind of funding mechanisms that can really work well for bottom-up innovation approaches. So let me start by introducing impact investing. I'll try not to be too academic. I just want to give you an idea of what impact investing is. And beside all definitions, if there's one thing you should keep in mind, thinking about impact investing is really that it's about making both money and producing social impact. And how you do so, there's many ways. And clearly when we talk about social impact, we're seeing before the presentations, we're focusing, yes, on impact on people. But when we say social, it's really societal, meaning that also environmental impact can be social because it impacts people as well. The fact that we're living in a cleaner environment really has an impact on people as well. And when we talk about this impact investing, the idea is to have these three determinants. How can we say whether an investment is an impact investment or not? Is if it's measurable, so it produces impact that we can actually tangibly measure. If it's intentional, so the impact that is produced is not just a byproduct of the investment, but it's the core business of the core focus of the investment. And thirdly, if it's additional, meaning that, as I said before, and as Norma was saying, it's not just about the private sector, it's about coming together and produce partnerships and work together. So in a way, impact investing is the additional part of what other organizations like public governments, public authorities actually bring to the table. So the combination of these three determinants tells us that investment is impact. So it has an impact purpose in itself. Where does impact investing come from? I want to give you an idea that impact investing, of course, it's a very old phenomenon. It gained traction in the last 10 to 15 years, but it's really like a very old concept. It starts from philanthropy. But as you see here, there is a lot of phenomena that really caused impact investing to grow faster and faster in the latest year. And these phenomena, as you see here, are major problems we see every day. This problem relating to rising inequalities. We know that, as you see in the top right corner of the slide, we know that the share of income of the bottom 50% of the population is slowly, not so slowly, decreasing towards the share owned by the top 1%. The graph you see here refers to the European case. If you were in the US, the two lines would have crossed by a long time already. But inequality is just one of the problems. We know that, for example, the share of urban population is growing and growing. And this is affecting the way we live in cities, and it's affecting phenomena like pandemics. We're seeing now with COVID-19, the fact that we live in very massively populated cities is making problems like pandemics even worse. And then, of course, you have crises like the refugee crisis or the aging population. What this does to our social fabric, it puts a lot of stress because it creates new problems, great problems that are difficult to tackle with traditional means, that is normally public spending. So government spending money to solve these problems, that's their task. But we know that the public budget is not able to cover all. So these are the bad side of how impact investing developed. There's good sides as well to that. We know that younger generations are more interested in sustainability. We know that many more millennials are interested in investing in impact solutions rather than their parents or grandparents. So the fact that millennials are now starting to inherit the money of their grandparents and parents makes a great case for impact investing to keep growing. And of course, right now, things like COVID-19 represent a possibility for impact investing to keep growing. Again, we have a new challenge almost never faced before. And we know that impact investing can provide solutions to these type of problems. From our perspective, for example, the impact investing fund that I will present shortly after, we started fundraising. We launched the fund at the beginning of the year, so before the pandemic. And with the pandemic, we really saw our value proposition finally being understood by a wide range of stakeholders. The fact that we were focusing on investing in solutions, solution for the well-being of communities, not just for profit, was finally understood not just as a nice to have, but as a core business of our fund's proposition. Again, as I said before, another important cause for the impact investing to grow is the fact that, as you see from this graph, this is the debt to GDP ratio. So how much debt compared to the GDP of a country. And you see here the yellow line, most of you will be familiar with. It's the threshold set by the Maastricht Treaty that tells us that countries shouldn't go beyond that threshold. And we see that many countries are already above a threshold, and with COVID-19, this is expected to worsen significantly. And what this tells us is that going forward, we cannot expect for government to keep trying to solve this problem. So we really need to work on this partnership between public and private and make it work for the general interest. And finally, this is something you normally don't hear talking about impact investing, but clearly one of the reasons is really that the traditional finance with especially the financial crisis of 2008, 2009 had the major problem, I would say, of conscience. Impact investing was in a way born out or grew out of a need for traditional finance to clean their conscience, to show the general public they could do well while doing good. And so this is a sort of reaction. And again, if we bring this to the current times with COVID-19 and the crisis that we are starting to experience, and it's expected to take quite a while before things will go back to normal in financial terms, we know that there will be open space again for this sort of reaction by traditional finance. So this is the typical slide. I put it here, it's just there to scare you. I'm not going to go into detail explaining everything here. I just want to show you, and perhaps it's better if I show this slide here, that impact investing is made of a wide array of tools, of instruments. They go from traditional finance, as you can see here in the top left corner of the screen, is focusing on high returns. It's all about financial returns and no focus on impact whatsoever. And on the other side, grants and donation, this is philanthropy. Philanthropy is essentially giving money for impact reason and with no financial return in mind. There is, as I said, a wide array of instruments in between these two options. And what I think it's important for you today is to focus on this bottom right hand of the screen, where you see from philanthropy to microcredit, social impact bonds, so outcome contracts, and private equity and venture capital. This is where I think citizen science, bottom-up innovation projects can really find a way to finance their solutions, their products, their services. And microcredit certainly was born to help developing countries, but we see now with crowdfunding, impact crowdfunding, a movement growing more and more that helps small projects develop. But we have here today other people that know much more than me about crowdfunding, so I'll leave that aside. And what we'll do, we'll try and focus on the top one here. So private equity and venture capital for impact, because actually this is where our proposition, so the fund we're launching, fits. The Urban Impact Fund is a private equity and venture capital fund that Plusvalue, together with Impact Alliance Holding and Lend-Lease, has launched at the beginning of the year. The idea for this fund is to invest in companies that can create solutions, market solutions for the well-being of communities at urban scale. We think we have some very peculiar characteristics for an impact fund. I'll show you later how our recipe is based on the idea of using innovation ecosystems and urban regeneration as I call it like a life-size accelerator. So normally incubators and accelerators are places that are designed specifically to make companies grow. In our proposition, we know that the role of accelerating comes from the idea that we invest in companies and we bring them inside innovation ecosystems that can help them by collaborate to compete approach to grow and grow by themselves. Because as I explained at the beginning, being an impact fund means that we are focusing on solutions that generate social impact, but it's fundamental for us to produce also financial return. It's a financial return that compared to traditional finance is much lower. We don't target those high returns, but still towards our shareholders, towards our investors, the promise is to bring a financial return. And so the idea of making these companies grow means that, first of all, we accomplish our financial requirement. We can produce a financial return, but also by making them grow, we know that there's more impact that these companies were able to produce before can finally become a bigger impact. It's not just the focus on ecosystems, it's also the idea that we are bringing to the table combined expertise. So as I said, Plusvalue launched this fund in partnership with Impact Alliance Holding, which is a private equity professional, and Lend-Lease. Lend-Lease is it's another corporation. It's a multinational corporation based it was born in Australia. It's all over the world now, and it's a real estate developer. So it creates parts of cities. Two important projects that Lend-Lease is developing in Italy at the moment, for those of you who come from Italy, based in Milan. One is a Milan Innovation District, MIND, and this is an innovation ecosystem. It is an innovation district that really creates a whole ecosystem. It's like a jungle of different type of business stakeholders. We have from the small companies to the big companies, we have investors, we have research centers, and at European scale, I would say it's one of the most interesting projects in both urban regeneration and innovation ecosystem. And the fact that Lend-Lease is developing this project in partnership with the public authorities in Milan means that we are able to tap into that opportunities. We're able to exploit both the companies that already work there, but also these, these ecosystems, the presence of these different stakeholders that can help small companies grow and grow. And the third important element, I think, is that we are trying to bring impact at scale. We know that there is desperate need for impact capital in Italy and in Europe, but we also know that so far the great work done by other impact investing professionals has been focused mainly on a lower scale if we compare it to other geographies, like, for example, the United States. So in the US, the size of impact investing funds, which have some different ways of working, it's not really the same, but it's much larger. And with with Urban Impact Fund, what we're trying to do is really to bring impact investing in Italy and Europe at a larger scale. Our fundraising target is between 80 and 100 million euros. with a first closing of 50 million. So as you can understand, also the ticket size, so the amount of money we can invest in every project, in every company, is significantly larger than most funds that are around at the moment. But what kind of investment are we looking for? Very briefly, because it's quite complicated, and at the same time very simple. Urban Impact Fund is a generalist fund. This is something we discuss a lot with investors that need to understand what we try to invest in. And to be fair, we really consider impact investing as an asset class in itself. So we're not targeting especially one sector, because we know that the market is not sufficiently developed at the moment in Italy to allow us to be very picky and focus on something. And through the fact that we focus on urban impact, we know that cities are a great representation of very complex systems that are made of different elements. And so really, we try and target, as you see here, a wide variety of industry sectors. And of course, to these, we surely add COVID-19 proof solutions. So that's a new market developing that we're really interested in targeting. But generally speaking, we target companies that focus on social, tech, and green innovation. Obviously, the idea will be a combination of the three, because one doesn't exclude the other. But anything that fits into this framework for us will be interesting, at least to have a look and see if it's a good fit for our investment proposition. So going back to what I called before our recipe, what we think it's a good way to make great investments and make them grow. The idea is to exploit these innovation ecosystems. As I said before, one in particular would be Mind in Milan, and these places are places where blue sky research is taken and translated into market opportunities. And of course, there is quite a wide variety of financial stages. We know that startups have different financial needs compared to scale-ups. And as I said before, our intention is really to try to make the greatest impact we can. And so the idea is to have 20% of our commitment dedicated to venture capital investments, and the remainder, so 80% of our commitments dedicated to private equity. So 20% to small scale projects. When we talk about small scale projects, we're still talking about quite substantial amount of money, because you will understand that the management of the fund imposes us not to have too many investments. We can't invest in too many projects and then not be able to manage them. We need to be focused and target a few of them. So we're still talking about quite substantial investments, not very grassroots. I think that for very small projects, there are different solutions that could be interesting for you, but we're interested in understanding what's going on at earlier stage, not just private equity level investments. And of course, the scale up. The scale up, it's interesting for us because it can actually offer products and services to those ecosystems where we try and bring these companies. So, and this is the other side of our formula. It's innovation ecosystem and it's urban regeneration. Urban regeneration projects offer great markets for those companies that market products and services for impact, because we know these urban regenerations are like small parts of cities that need to develop from the ground up. And so we know that they need solutions, they need services to be delivered at the local scale. So through scale-ups, and in some cases through startups also, we're able to actually put these companies, not just fund them, but actually create a market for them to grow and learn. And the last part is clearly replication. The fact that we chose to partner with Lend-Lease means that we have access to a very large pipeline of projects, of urban regeneration projects worldwide. It's worth 68 billion euros. So we're talking about projects all over the world, just like the ones I talked to you about in Milan. there is similar projects in Australia, Singapore, in the US, and the fact that we have such a large pipeline potentially to play with means that whenever we find a solution that it's worth developing, we can straight away scale it to worldwide audiences and make it grow bigger. The last point I'd like to touch, it's on impact measurement. We are firstly an impact fund, so the idea that we measure impact is very important, and it's very important for one specific reason, that the partners of this impact fund will be rewarded by carried interest, not just by their financial performance, not just by the amount of money they can create, they can make. So how successful the investments are from the perspective of the financial return, but also looking at how much impact they're able to generate. So up to 50% of the carried interest is tied to the achievement of these impact objectives. And what this means is that we are giving ourselves quite a tight commitment to produce impact and to actually produce an impact measurement framework approach that can tell us materially how much impact we have produced. So it's not just about public is saying that we produce impact, that we are an impact fund. It's also about actually having accountability mechanisms that can tell how much impact we produce, and we have we are committed to this. If we don't produce enough impact, there are material consequences on our partners. Really, what this means is that the impact measurement side of this fund will be quite substantial, and we are committed actually to keep improving that, to make sure that this accountability mechanism is up to the highest standards and can actually be au pair with our financial proposition. And I think this is something that, as other speakers this morning have discussed, this is an important trend that we're seeing, and it's really important to keep pushing from different sides. So again, it's not just the private sector pushing, it can't be just the public, it's a combination of the two. And if really we're able to deliver on this objective, I think that you will see projects like bottom-up citizen science project to finally find a way to break through, gain financial and economic sustainability, and finally being able to deliver impact on the ground, which I think would be a great objective to achieve.
Thanks, Marco. Thank you. Thank you. It has been a lot. I mean, we are putting a lot of information and idea on the table, and I'm receiving in chat some questions, and we are really a little bit late, and I want to give some time to the audience to make question and discuss. So now we move forward to Rosa Arias, which is the CEO and founder at Science for Change, a startup that was created out of a citizen science project financed by the European Commission. And I'm sure she will tell us a lot of interesting things as she has to face and engage with all the instruments and stakeholders we mentioned and we hear about so far. So thank you, Rosa. It's your turn. 10 minutes.
Yes, thank you, Antonella. I will try to keep to my time. So I will try to come back to the essence of citizen science a little bit by explaining you my personal path on this and how I created the startup, which is called Science for Change. I wish that my field would be perfumes such as Norman, but my field is a different one. It's also related to smells, but more about odor pollution. And I want to explain you my journey, since a lot of citizen science projects are born from the willingness of a researcher that tries to find a way to make these projects come true. So I will explain you mine to see if some others can adopt a similar idea. So odor pollution is the second cause of environmental complaints after noise at a global level. It is not useful for you probably if you are not suffering from it, but a lot of citizens are at European and global level. So I started working on this field back in 2004. This is me taking some samples in a landfill or in the laboratory. And I have been experiencing how a lot of communities, of citizen communities, are impacted by this type of pollution, which is a type of air pollution. And the thing is that you always need to use a sensual measurement to deal with odor pollution, which implies our human nose, which is the best sensor to measure odors. So this offers an opportunity to citizen science, and this is how I started to think about everything else that I will explain you now. So the thing is also that odor pollution is under-regulated. In most of the countries, there is no regulation, no specific regulation. So citizens that are suffering this type of pollution are unprotected. And usually there is no transparency or communication with the citizens, or they do not have access to information. So it's also not about just the nuisance that is causing the regular exposure to odor pollution at your home or at your working place, but it also has some health issues related, such as headache, anxiety, stress, insomnia, or even respiratory problems. So that's why we are working on this. So how everything started? I was working in the past. I created the first odor laboratory in Barcelona back in this 2004 or blah, blah, blah. But then I started working in European projects, and I discovered the concept of responsible innovation, some citizen science. So back in 2013, so I discovered the project that maybe some of you remember, Societies, where the white paper on citizen science was written. And they have an open call as action for small projects. So I submitted there for the first time the idea of Odor Collect, which is our app that you use to collect citizen observations on odors. So I was not successful, but I started a relationship with Ibercibis, which were the coordinators of the project, that lasted until today, let's say. And we were trying to find additional sources of funding to make this idea happen. So in 2016, we won a small project launched by the Joint Research Center through the MyGeos project, which was also funding apps, innovative apps for the environment to tackle different challenges. So we get a small funding for creating the first version of Odor Collect. And then we got another small funding from Spain to use this app in schools, etc. And then I started to create the idea of the Denosis project, which I explain you later. So this is what we managed to do back in 2017, just to create an app, but our funding was only to create the app. So we could not promote or use or talk to communities or talk to policymakers or anything else. So we decided to try to make this idea grow through the European project. And by the way, I invite you to download the app and help us map odors around Europe. It could be very nice to have the smell of the sea of dell'Elba island. So it's an open access, open data app, so you can just download it and see what is mapped there. So what we did is in 2018, we wrote the project. I was inviting like the whole consortium to make this idea grow in the form of a European project. We were successful and we started our journey. And now we are struggling with the sustainability, as I will explain you later. So this is the project that we managed to achieve, funded under the SOAF's call as action. This is the partnership. And our main objectives is to first scientifically validate this new bottom-up approach to tackle odor pollution based on citizen science. Secondly, provide these new sets of data, these maps, that collaborative maps that we are building together with the citizens to inform other emitting activities and environmental authorities of what is going on there, with the objective of reducing the impact over the population that are receiving these odors. And also we want to introduce this concept of odor pollution in the policy agendas for protecting the citizens. This is our team. We work with the Quadruple Helix approach. This is very important for us because in each pilot, in each action that we do, we try to always involve public authorities or policymakers, the other emitting activities, of course, the citizens, and also the experts in the consortium and outside the consortium, both in odor pollution, but also in citizen science, co-creation, engagement strategies, etc., because we need to work transdisciplinary. And we are using the extreme citizen science approach to include all these stakeholders in from the very definition of the research question until the definition of the data collection strategy, the data analysis, and potential call for actions to reduce this impact over the population. We use a highly inclusive approach to involve all type of citizens, since we all have noses, we all can measure others. So any literacy level, any gender, any sociocultural, socioeconomic status are more than welcome. And we are adapt our engagement strategies to the local realities where we are working in. This is our 10 pilot case studies. I will not give you details about it, but you can contact me if you want more, or check our webpage or other observatory. We are working in Europe, but also in Chile and Uganda. And we also, as I was mentioning, want to go from local to global in order to inform policymaking. We have this policy brief. We have also some other tools, such as these maps that you are seeing. We are mapping affected communities all around the world, also other regulations all around the world, and many other things. A lot of information can be found here in our other observatory, which will be the legacy of the project. We want also to comply with the Principle 10 of the Rio Declaration that advocates for access to environmental information, public participation in decision-making, and environmental justice. And we want to go one step beyond, which is that our citizens are empowered to become data generators themselves, not only to access this environmental information. We are aligned with several SDGs, blah, blah, blah. And from the start, we decided, when I was writing the project, I already have in mind to do this. All the partners were informed in the very beginning, during the proposal preparation, during the kickoff meeting, that this will happen. That a startup will be created in order to push this sustainability of the project, which is an issue not only for citizen science projects, but for many other European projects that when funding ends, the project also ends. So we decided to create this startup, and this is where we are now. At the end of the project, it's still ongoing, and we are now pushing all these actions in terms of sustainability. From DNOSIS, we are developing the exploitation model together with the 14 partners that we are in the consortium. We are working on the standardization of the methodology, which is also very important to be adopted in the future by environmental authorities, for example. We are working on this advocacy plan to influence policies and also reinforce future exploitation. We are feeding this other observatory as the legacy of the project, also to ensure this future exploitation. And from Science for Change, we are also doing many other things. The company was created in 2019, and we are promoting the replicability of the methodology to tackle other socio-environmental challenges that can be similar to the field of odor pollution. We are promoting the use of odor collect or the methodology in other affected communities. And of course, we are also working in our business model to survive. And very, very briefly, I'm almost done, Antonella. This has been worth it, in fact, because we are also participating in some other European projects through Science for Change. The first one, we are coordinating this one as well, is New Zeta. And in this one, we are tackling one common challenge for citizen science projects, which is also the need to communicate very well to reach Quadruple Helix stakeholders. So we are working with a lot of projects to understand how we can reach them and increase the project impact consequently. We have also transformed on territorial innovation through citizen science participation. We have Cost for Cloud, which is a project working on the interoperability of data and co-designing services, common services that can be used by citizen science projects. In this case, we are also using Other Collect as a pilot. So this project is also helping us to improve and sustain Other Collect and with time. And we have finally HOOP, which is in the field of urban bioeconomy, let's say, from bio-waste to produce bio-waste-based products. So that's it. The journey has been very long, let's say, but I'm very happy that I have now all this team that we are working together in all these projects, and also to push further the sustainability of Denosis. And my advice for you would be to be bold. Creating a startup may sound a bit scary, but it's really worth it. We are managing to ensure the future sustainability of the Denosis results, but we are also reaching some other opportunities that otherwise would be impossible to achieve. So thank you very much.
You have been so perfect in time. I'm moved. Thanks a lot, Rosa. Super interesting. And of course, there are already questions like, what is your business model? How do you survive out of European funded project? And maybe one of the answers will be provided by Chiara Rutolo from Goteo, who is our last speaker, and will tell us how to engage, how citizens can be engaged in citizen science, not only as citizen scientists, but as supporters and financial supporters, or better, what Goteo does, and also the citizen science project they have been supporting through crowdfunding. Thanks, Chiara. It's your turn. 10 minutes for you.
Hello. Can you hear me well?
Yeah.
Okay, that's perfect. So I will try to share my presentation. Can you see it?
Yes. It's not full screen yet.
Okay. Now?
Now it is.
Okay. Okay, so good morning and thank you for inviting me here today. I will try to be very, very brief, though I have a lot of information for you. My presentation is about first giving you a short insight within the world of crowdfunding. Then I'm going to focus on explaining a little bit what crowdfunding means to Goteo, give you a very, very short few slides on how to run a successful crowdfunding campaign through our platform. And then I will show you an example of a citizen science project that was a huge success and that was promoted for the first time through Goteo. So one of the first questions that comes up when people hear about crowdfunding for the first time is precisely what it is, crowdfunding. But the answer is very simple, and it is contained in the word crowdfunding itself. It is composed by two terms, the term crowd and the term funding. Crowd refers to the multitude, to people, to me, you as all, and funding means financing. So basically, crowdfunding is about collective financing realized through small citizen contributions. By small contribution, I mean a small amount of money that 10 people or 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 people can give to your project, depends on the size of the initiative. One thing to keep in mind is that when we talk about crowdfunding, we are placing ourselves within the world of the so-called alternative financing. And it is a way of financing projects that it is a complete world apart from the traditional way of doing so. We are talking about financing, about money, but we talk and we actually care more about creating and engaging communities. If we analyze in detail, most of the campaigns and projects that we support through our platform talk less about money and a lot more about mission, collective values, and innovation. Also, when we talk about crowdfunding, we are always referring to the digital world, to a platform. It is not like when we collect money with our pals to buy a present for a friend's birthday. Well, it is actually the same mechanism, but we do so through a digital platform. What kind of platform are we talking about? We are talking about a platform that can give us the digital tools that are essential to carry out a successful crowdfunding campaign. We have to keep in mind the 4 concepts above, and also think that these concepts are used in the field of marketing as well. But when we talk about, for example, trust, in the field of crowdfunding, we give it a completely different meaning. We refer a lot to transparency. We generate data through our crowdfunding campaigns, and we have to keep transparency always into account. As you can see, it is not all about financing. Collaborative economies are normally divided into these 5 categories, and within the consumption one, you will recognize eBay, Airbnb, BlaBlaCar, but there are also collaborative economies that work for production knowledge. For example, the digital peer production platform Wikipedia. As you can see, Goteo, and together with the famous crowdfunding platform Kickstarter, is a finance collaborative platform, and particularly it fits within the category of the peer-to-peer funding. When we talk about crowdfunding portals, we basically divide them in these four categories according to the what the financiers what you give back to your investors. Basically, we talk about a lending-based portal when the money is just lended and you as project promoter will have to give them back after the project implementation. On an equity-based platforms, basically the people investing in your project receive ownership of a little part of your business. And then we have reward and donation-based platforms. That is Goteo's model. Donation-based is a platform in which you don't give anything back to the funders. They simply donate their money to your initiative. And in a reward-based platform, you give something back as a reward. For example, if your project is about growing eggs in an ecological farm, you may give to your supporters a pack of those ecological eggs in return for their support. So what does crowdfunding mean according to Goteo? Goteo is a civic crowdfunding site which focuses on projects that, apart from giving individual rewards, also generate a collective return through promoting the commons, open source code, and free knowledge. It allows contributions both in the form of money or in the form of tasks collaborating with the projects, the so-called crowdsourcing. For example, if your project is about renovating a green area within your city, you might need expert gardeners' help. So if I am a gardener and I have a few hours of my time that I wish to dedicate to your project, I can offer you my time and expertise instead of lending you money. The platform Goteo, that itself means drop by drop, is a tool for generating resources and can rely on a community of communities consisting of over 6,500 people, and the success rate of our projects is over 70%. We started in 2011, and the platform is nowadays run by the Barcelona-based foundation Goteo.org that starting from January 2021 will be called Platonic Foundation. So we will merge. Platonic is our mother foundation, let's say, and we are now in a process of merging the two foundations. So these are the tools on which our work is based. We are a platform, an open source platform, and to the projects that are run through our website, we offer case-by-case and step-by-step advice and specific training programs and workshops to help them develop their idea. What we want is to create a more ethical and collaborative internet in which community are involved in improving and advancing economic, environmental, educational, political, social, and cultural terms within their environment through, of course, a collaborative process and a constant civic innovation. These are 13 categories within which the projects that we fund can fit, and these are not binding. I mean, a project can fit in more than one category. And I think for citizen science projects, the most interesting ones might be ecological research, open data, or citizen participation. But of course, your project can also rely on a free software tool. And all the projects we support must have a huge social commitment on premise. As I briefly told before, Goteo represents a unique approach to data transparency, as we are one of the few open sources crowdfunding platforms in the world, allowing full public scrutiny of our funding dynamics, campaigns, and backers' behaviors. At the link below, you can read our statutes and further study what open data and transparency means for us. This is a quote from the Stanford Social Review. For self-proud, I want to share it with you. They said about Goteo that our power is the creation of shared experience and impact, in addition to a valuable model and a set of practices for future projects. Now, very, very shortly, I'm going to show you how what a project or an initiative should fill in order to launch a campaign through our platform. This is the analogical format of the different things that you would have to fill in. So of course your project should have a title and a subtitle in which in 130 characters you do like a little very short resume. Then you have to describe your projects, your previous experience and team, and establish a minimum amount of money that you require from your funders in order for your projects to start its activities. Then you have to list the rewards that you will offer to your funders, and in the case you are asking for it, list also your non-economic requests. And of course, what is your social commitment? These are 7 of the key success factors for a successful communication campaign. You have to motivate and train your team, and to this aim, we offer support from our expert crowdfunding trainers to clearly define your target and objectives, and very, very important, to try to create a community around your project idea, that it is not only a community of funders, but it's also the community on which your project can rely on for its further sustainability after the end of the crowdfunding campaign. Then you have to communicate your rewards effectively. That is also something that engages your community, of course. And then try to increase the traffic on your on campaign website as much as possible by using your website, your social media, and so on. And of course, develop strategic partnerships. So now that you have a clearer, though very rapid idea of what crowdfunding is and what it means according to Goteo, just very, very quickly, I'm going to show you an example of a very successful citizen science project that has been financed through Goteo. The project is called Smart Citizen, and it is based on the software Arduino, and it aimed at creating a social network of citizens that were able of building a tool to share data on pollution, quality of air, and others within their community. This is how the page of the project looked like on Goteo. As you can see, they established the minimum amount of 8,938 euros for them to start their activities, and they accomplished this minimum and even more because they managed to collect more than 13,000 euros. These are some of the rewards that they offered to their funders. As you can see, for example, if you contributed with 5 euros, you had in exchange a web recognition. And if you were able to give them 70 euros, you would have had the full Smart Citizen kit. This is the kit that they gave as a reward. As you can see, it's based on our Arduino. And through this kit, they enabled citizens to build themselves a tool for collecting environmental data in their desired location and then sharing the data with the community through the platform. These are the kind of data that the kit enabled the citizen to collect about weather conditions, noise pollution, light pollution, and quality of air. And the success of this project relies on the fact that they were able to combine these three elements. They gave sensor kits that were ready to use, very easy, that enabled citizens to build themselves an environmental measuring device. Then they enable people to share the data collected through a platform, and they fostered citizens' participation by giving open sources and tailored workshops to help the community engage with data and sensors. In this last slide, you can see on the right side the three key elements of the project, and now they are interconnected. And one of the proofs of the success of this project is the fact that after the end of the crowdfunding campaign, they managed to receive funds from the Horizon 2020 EU program, thanks to which they developed the second version of the kit, the 2.1 version, and they further developed useful tools to empower the users with the essential skills to construct their kit autonomously. And they even produced a documentary. You can check their website, and you can see all the different tools and information more in detail.
Thanks, Chiara.
Thank you very much.